Hi, this is Joy with Obsessed with Scrapbooking, and today we're going to make this fun, quick Cupid Valentine's card using the Close to My Heart Artbooking cartridge. I think it's a pretty fun set of cuts that we have here, and coming up you can see all the cuts I used from that Artbooking cartridge. Just something I want to point out is this cartridge is billed as something to use to make scrapbooks and mini albums, but this week I've been featuring different ways you can use it on the fronts of cards. So let's get started. The card we're making is actually a standard size card that would fit in a business size envelope. So it's like 3.5 by 8. And what I'm doing here is I'm just going to layer up that XOXO. I wanted to have a little bit of blue showing behind the white, and so I'm using this Xyron X to, they call that the X, because it's shaped like an X, but it makes anything you put through it, like I just showed you, into a sticker. So that's another way to put glue on things. I like to show different ways. Here's another way, and this ends up turning out okay. You'll see in a second. There's a little excitement that happens, but anyway, this first time goes okay. And I just go ahead and lay it down. You got to be real careful because it's quite sticky, so got to be real gentle to lay it down correctly. It gives you a minute, like if you don't push down too hard, you can wiggle a little bit, but if you start really pushing, it doesn't go. So then I decided to be brave and run it through here again. Well, seemed like that was a good idea, but you'll see in a minute. I guess I'll save that excitement for later. All right, moving on. I've got this little sentiment that says, also, I love you, which is kind of a funky thing to say, but I thought it would be fun for the inside to go ahead and put that in there. I cut all this out with, well, it's called Lagoon colored cardstock. It's that, teal colored cardstock, which I thought would make a, just a little bit of contrast for the front of the card. And I'm going ahead and I'm using the Close to My Heart glue pen, which is kind of a nice pen. It comes in 2 thicknesses. This is the thinner one, to just stick that down. So that's going to be for the inside of my card. That's my piece for the inside. And I'm just wiggling it a little bit. A lot of wiggling here. Now I'm going to go ahead and score my card. My card was 7 inches by 8 inches, and I've scored at 3.5. So my card ends up 3.5 by 8. And then I just need to go ahead and put the overlay and my little Cupid on the front and my XOXO. And that's kind of it. It's a pretty, and of course, obviously tape the inside. So it's a pretty fast card. Now, here's what happens. I turn that over and then I forgot. Did I turn it over? Does it go this way? Does it go that way? They both look okay. So I ended up having to get the handbook out to say, now what? Okay, goes that way. So sometimes I'm working on stuff and not always paying the closest of attention. Here I've got some Scotch Quick Dry adhesive glue, another favorite kind of glue. I know it's lots of glues, 3 different kinds so far. I don't think there's any more past this, but just like to keep it interesting for you guys. A lot of glue. All right, so things are going okay, and then I go ahead to take my XOXO off, and I take that cover off, and son of a gun, if it does not rip a little bit of that first X where I'm pointing at, oh, I was so mad, you guys. I was like, what? So I had to cut it again, and I decided to just take my chances and lay that second white on the first white and try to do it precisely. And fortunately, I hate to steal the excitement, but it turns out okay. But oh, I was so angry. I'm like, how did that even happen? I don't even know how it happened, but let's just say I was a little irritated, if you will. And now I got to pick off, I call those, this is not a nice name, glue boogers. You got to kind of pick at those when you use the Xyron X, because it creates these little, well, if you've ever used it, you know exactly what I'm talking about, these little glue icky pieces that you kind of pick at. But boy, when you use it, stuff sticks. So just as a side note, if you stick something down with that, it is a stay in. It is not going anywhere. So pick. Yeah. Anyway, moving on, let's go ahead and get our Cupid put down. I did actually cut this Cupid flipped, which I'm not sure I put in the beginning of the video, so I apologize if I didn't. Most people would have been using pure white cardstock, which I thought I was using, but I grabbed it from the scrap drawer, and then come to find out, it actually had dots on the other side. Oops. So anyway, if you were using normal solid cardstock, you wouldn't really be worried about flipping or not, because you just turn it over the other side because it's the same color on both sides. But some of us didn't quite plan that so good. So you can kind of see it's a little bit more beige on the back of that heart and whatnot. So very quick card to put together. I appreciate you guys watching. Again, this was made with a close to my heart art booking cartridge, and I hope that this was a good way for you to see the different shapes that are on that cartridge, and that it's not just for scrapbooking and mini albums. You can make an awful lot of cards using this cartridge. Coming up is information on where to get everything, and I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.